Come on, once again, the Turf and District Pipe Band. Fantastic stuff there. With the Green Hills of Tyrol, that wonderful Andy Stewart song, and that Dawning of the Day, that wonderful Irish tune. It's quite haunting, that melody that they played there at the beginning. Once again, for starting off our second half, Pipe Major Hebburn and the Turf and District Pipe Band. Well, welcome back to our second half. Did you all get a dram? Nobody sent me my double Macallan, that's for sure. Get in dry kind. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's my shotty now, and this is a wonderful song that I learned a few years ago and heard it before he died. He was a wonderful guy. You'll remember him fondly. He sung once or twice at the Auld Meal. I learned it from the great late Tam Reid, and he brought up this song from South, and it was called Annie Mckelvey. And of course, he sung it so sweetly for his lovely wife, sadly no longer with us as well, Anne Reid. So here we go. If you ken the chorus, join in. It's lovely. It's called Annie Mckelvey. Oh, Dumbarton's the place where I met Anne Mckelvey, walking her dog by the shore. Oh, we stood there for hours as the evening was passing, then took the road back to her door. Div you fancy a night at the dancing with me? Oh, the band in the tune hall's the finest you'll see. And if there's no another place you'd rather be, then come to the dance with me, Annie. She said she'd like a few days to consider my proposal. Her mother would need to consent. So I left her that night, just a kiss on the doorstep, then back down through Bowen I went. Div you fancy a night at the dancing with me? Or the band in the tune hall's the finest you'll see. And if there's no another place you'd rather be, then come to the dance with me, Annie. Well, she finally agreed to come out with me dancing. I travelled to Clydebank by train. On that cold station platform for hours I stood waiting, but never saw Annie again. If you fancy a night, come on, at the dancing with me, or the band in the tune hall's the finest you'll see. And if there's no another place you'd rather be, then come to the dance with me, Annie. Now it's oft times I walked by the banks of the Leven and followed its flow to the Clyde. When I think on the hours spent with Annie Mckelvey, the lassie that wounded my pride. Div you fancy a night at the dancing with me? Or the band in the tune hall's the finest you'll see. And if there's no another place you'd rather be, then come to the dance with me, Annie. And if there's no another place you'd rather be, then just come to the dance with me, Annie. Thank you very much indeed. You're very kind. And this fantastic band with James there, the real Cayley band, they're just wonderful. Always great to sing with. Now, I thought it's fine to hear a good sing-song at the Auld Meal Mill. Now, are you in good voice? Did you promise to sing? I hope so, because everybody kens these songs. If there's one person I would have loved to have met, it was the great Harry Lauder, ladies and gentlemen. I just love his stuff, and I love all his songs. But there's so many of those well-kent songs, and we all ken the words. So we're going to tickle Jock a bit. We're going to be roaming in the gloaming. We're going to be keeping right on to the end of the road, and we're going to be loving a few lassies on the way is to Ardentiny. So will you join me? Here we go. Roaming in the gloamin', come on the bonny banks of Clyde. Can't I hear you? Roamin' in the gloamin' wi' a lassie by my side. When the sun has gone to rest, that's the time that I love best. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. Come on now, I'm roamin' in the gloamin' on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roamin' in the gloamin' wi' a lassie by my side. When the sun has gone to rest, that's the time that I love best. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. I love a lassie, come on, a bonny, bonny lassie. She's as pure as the lily in the dell. She's as sweet as the heather, the bonny bloomin' heather, Mary Muscot's blue bell. Once again. Oh, I love a lassie, a bonny, bonny lassie. She's as pure as the lily in the dell. Aye, she's as sweet as the heather, the bonny bloomin' heather, Mary Muscot's blue bell. Aye, just a wee doch and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee doch and Doris, afore you can awa. There's a wee wifey waiting in a wee butt and Ben. If you can say, then you're alright, you can. Oh, just a wee doch and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee doch and Doris, afore you can awa. There's a wee wifey waiting in a wee butt and Ben. If you can say it's a brabracht mean like neck, then you're alright, you can. O'er the hill to Ardentiny, come on, just to see my bonny Jeanie, just to get one or a smile. I would walk 100 miles once again, o'er the hill to Ardentiny, just to see my bonny Jeanie, just to get one or a smile. I would walk 100 miles. There is somebody waiting for me in an old cabin down by the sea, in a land where I wish that I could be. There is somebody waiting for me. Come on. There is somebody waiting for me in an old cabin down by the sea, in a land where I wish that I could be. There is somebody waiting for me. Would you stop your tickling joke? Come on, would you stop your tickling joke? I dinna mock my love so hearty, or you'll mock my joke. Well, I wish you'd stop your nonsense. Well, look at all the folk. Would you stop your tickling, tickling, stop your tickling joke? Would you stop your tickling joke? Come on, would you stop your tickling joke? I dinna mock my love so hearty, or you'll mock my joke. I wish you'd stop your nonsense. Well, look at all the folk. Would you stop your tickling, tickle-ickle-ickle, stop your tickling joke? Keep right on to the end of the road. Keep right on to the end. Though the way be long, let your heart be strong. Keep right on round the bend. Though you're tired and weary, still journey on till you come to your happy abode, where all your love you'll be dreaming of, and be there at the end of the road. done. Well done indeed. It's time to welcome back our fantastic troupe of dancers. Our wife is stricken, and I should say hello to other folk that come in with the dancers tonight. Fars other folk that's come in with the dancers. Give us a cheer. I know they're all out there. Lots of mums and dads in with the dancers. Well, their second routine tonight is called Farewell to the Creeks. It was that fantastic pipe tune that was written by the very famous and well-known pipe major James Robertson from Portsoy. He was away fighting in the First World War, and he missed his homeland so much, the creeks and the inlets around Banff, that when he came home in 1918, he composed that fantastic tune, Farewell to the Creeks. And that's the name of their dance. There's many other well-known dances in it: the Village Maid, Highland Laddie, Scottish Lilt, and lots of other well-known tunes. So will you welcome back the girls with Piper, Pamela White, and there they go, the Madeline Law Dancers.
once again, the Marlene Lowe School of Dance and Piper Pamela White. Fantastic. All those fantastic girls and young Eddie Hosey there with them in the middle. Well done indeed. What a fine routine. Well, it's now time to welcome back for some more songs and lots of fun. It's our great comedian again, Eddie Rose. Eddie has been entertaining, ladies and gentlemen, for the best part of his life, over 45 years. He's been at the very top of telling stories up and down the country. And he's taken part in so many shows with all the very best of our Scottish performers. It's always wonderful to welcome him back. But the trouble is, he's parked in double yellow lines at the back of the music hall. And somebody said he was a wa out to see if his car was okay. But there's enough a vicious traffic warden gone about, ladies and gentlemen. I dinna ken far that traffic warden went. Where did that traffic warden go? Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a traffic warden.
Here stay the wardens, the lads say staunch and true. I like working with the wardens, it's better than being on the brew. So if you're going shopping, don't park on the double lines. Oh, we'll book you in a minute and it's £12 of a fine. I met an old man the other day who just came into town. He put his combinations on completely upside down. You may think that was awkward, he did not give a rap. He merely smoked his pipe through the combination flap, singing, here stay the wardens, the lads is staunch and true. I like working with the wardens, it's better than on the brew. So if you're going shopping, don't park on the double lines. Oh, we'll book you in a minute and it's £12 of a pint. We'll book you in a minute and it's £12 of a pint.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to come in and have a wee chat with you, because I'm walking down the street the other morning, there's a man lying on his back in the gutter. I thought he must be in trouble. So I ran up to him. I said, you all right? You all right? He says, I am all right. I've just found a parking space. I've sent the wife home for the car. And further down the street is a guy with a green sou'wester hat, a green sou'wester jacket, and a green pair of wellies. That's all he's got on. And he's opening his jacket and he's shouting, yoo-hoo, look at me, yoo-hoo, look at me. I thought, that's disgusting the way that man's behaving. There was a policeman coming down the same side of the street as I was on. I said, look, away and book that man. That's disgusting the way he's behaving. The policeman said, well, you know, fine, I can't cross the street when the green man's flashing. And further down the street is an elderly gentleman sitting on the pavement, crying his eyes out. I says to him, what's happened to you? He says, I'm 95. I said, 95? You don't look 65. I said, what's wrong? He says, well, I'm married to a young girl of 21, and she keeps a nice, tidy house for me, and she makes my meals 3 times a day, and we make love twice a day, 3 times on a Sunday. I says, and what the heck are you crying for? He says, because I forgot where I live. And further down the street is a lady with one of these poodle dogs. You know, the kind you clip like a hedge. And it was bark, couldn't get it to stop barking. I went up to help her, it just made it worse. And this young fella came walking along. I said, excuse me, I wonder could you help us out here? We're trying to get this dog to be quiet. And he just took one look at the dog and he kicked it right up the alleyway. It never uttered another whimper. I says, how did you manage that? He says, hush puppies. Talking of shoes, I was in the shoe shop the other night in Perth, and I said to the young lady, could I have a size 8 shoe, please? Oh, she says, I'm sorry, it's common market size, it's now, it's all changed, it's definitely 42. I says, well, I take a size 8. It's all changed, common market size, it's now, it's all changed, it's definitely 42. I says, okay, I'll try on your 42. So I tried on the 42. I said, what do you think? She said, I think you need an 8.5. And I took the shoes home to discover them. I took a lid off the box. One was a slip-on and the other was a lacing shoe. So I took them back. I said, sorry to bother you again, madam. I said, these shoes you just gave me, one is a slip-on and the other is a lacing shoe. She said, no, that, it says that on the box, Taiwan. But you never know the minute nowadays. I went into the butcher's the other morning and I said, pound of sausages. He said, I'm sorry, it's kilos now. I said, give me a pound of kilos then. I said, how much are your pies? He says, 2 for £1. I said, how much for one? He said, 60 pence. I said, give me the other one. And I said to the young butcher, I said, could I have a pound of tripe? He said, a pound of tripe. I've only been a fortnight in this job, he said. I don't know what a pound of tripe looks like. I says, that's it hanging in the window there. He says, that? He says, I've been drying my hands in that all morning. And this elderly lady came in, she said, excuse me, is that a sheep's head you've got in the window? He said, no, it's a mirror. So talking of sheep, I thought I'd get a nice piece of mutton for the Sunday dinner, and I got a nice piece of roast mutton about that size, and I took it home and I roasted it for a couple of hours, and it shrunk from that size to that size. Oh, I was livid. I went back there on the Monday morning. I said, excuse me, I was in here on Saturday, bought a nice piece of roast mutton that size. I said, I roasted for a couple of hours and it shrunk from that size to that size. I said, what are you going to do about it? He says, it's funny you mention that. He said, my wife was up in the Pitlochry knitwear there and she bought me a woolly jumper. It was a 48 when she bought it. She washed it once and it shrunk to 38. Must have been off the same sheep. Talking of sheep, like the shepherd that was learning to drive, and the instructor said to him, can you make a U-turn? He said, no, but I could make its eyes water. And other morning, I'm walking down the street in Perth, and there's this big limousine parked on the double lines, and I thought, right, and I got out the book and everything, and here it was Alex Salmond. Something fishy about him. And Nicola Sturgeon. And I said, do you realise you're on the double lines here? He said, do you realise who I am? I'm head of the SNP. I said, yes, and I'm a member of the SNP as well. Oh, he says, are you the Perth branch? I said, no. Sorry, no parking. I'm in the supermarket the other day and there's 3 ladies discussing the groceries, and the first lady turned round, she said, change days, you know, I remember when you used to get cabbages with big hearts and the size of your fist, big cabbages. Look at the size of these cabbages today, size of a Brussels sprout compared with the cabbages we used to get. And the second lady said, yes, cucumbers. I remember when you got big, long cucumbers, big, thick cucumbers. Look at the size of these cucumbers today, size of a carrot compared with the cucumbers we used to get. And the third lady turned round, she said, I'm a little deaf, but I know the man you're talking about. And a pal said to me the other day, do you fancy a sauna? I said, I don't mind if we do. I went into this room, it was full of steam, and we took all our clothes off. When the steam cleared, we're in the middle of a chip shop. Nearly got battered twice. But you never know the minute. The other lady traffic warden, it was working in the same beat as me, wasn't feeling too well, and she went along to the doctor, and the doctor examined her. He said, madam, you've got falling furniture syndrome. She said, I beg your pardon? He says, you've got falling furniture syndrome. She says, could you explain that simply? He said, yes, to explain it simply, your chest has crashed into your drawers. There's a woman explaining that to her husband over there, and... But she said to me the other day, she said, I've just had my birthday. Would you like to see my birthday present? I said, I'd love to see your birthday present. And she brought it out. It was a wee Chihuahua dog. And I says, that's not a genuine Chihuahua, that. Oh, she says, yes, I've got a pedigree saying it's a genuine Chihuahua. I says, I'm not worrying what your pedigree says. It's not a genuine Chihuahua. It's got long hairs on its back and it shouldn't have that. If I was you, I'd have that long hairs removed before somebody finds out it's not a genuine Chihuahua, because it's not a genuine Chihuahua. She says, what'll I do? I said, go down to the chemist, I said, and get some of that hair remover and put it on its back, take that long hairs off its back, nobody will be any the wiser. It's not a genuine Chihuahua, because it's not a genuine Chihuahua. So she went down to the man, the chemist. She said, excuse me, have you got any of that hair remover, please? He said, yes, madam. Be very, very careful with this stuff, he said. When you put it on your arms, he said, keep your arms out like that for at least 10 minutes before you put them down your sides again. It's very, very, very powerful stuff and can do a lot of damage. Oh, she says, it's not for under my arms. It's for my Chihuahua. He said, well, in that case, don't ride your bike for a fortnight. Oh, my. Thank you, thank you. But right now we're going to tell you all about a wee story about my granny. But before we do, I'd like to show my appreciation to these very talented people behind me here, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for James Alexander and his band. Marvellous. Absolutely. We're going to tell you all about the time we flitted my granny for a boy to Aberdeen. What a carry-on, my goodness. It was on a Monday morning, how will I mind the scene, when my granny Fraser flitted fae a boy to Aberdeen. The villager turned out to see my granny on the road. The horse that couldn't pull the cart, you should have seen the load. There were armchairs, bath chairs, rocking chairs as well, ladles, cradles, a pram without a wheel. There were woolen shawls, mothballs, chili pans and jars, and grandpa near collapsed beneath my granny's chest of drawer. There were glue pots, chew pots, bonny woolly jugs, wee pots and tea pots and granny's teeny dugs. There were flour pots, what not, you know the kind I mean. A Granny Fraser flitting fae a boy to Aberdeen. Now Big Tom McNabb, the policeman, he cried for volunteers. It was the first time that he had his jagged up for years, to get the donkey moving, every man he played his part. But halfway up the bloomin' street, the wheel came off the cart. There were bath towels and enamel bowls lying in the street, lace frocks, alarm clocks round about their feet. There was golf clubs, wash tubs, lifter in the lane, and Grandpa Nerdy bottle nail went round in the drain. There were pretty jugs, fur coats mixed among the glass, headgears, big spears where the Boer wore. There were tight breeks, antiques of 1817, a Granny Fraser flitting fae a boy to Aberdeen. Now the village blacksmith Geordie Brune, he weighed up 20 stone. He lifted up the cart himself and put the wheel back on. They got the load securely tied among the scarce and tears, and when the lorry left the street, it got 3,000 cheers. 3 cheers for my granny. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hip, hip! Aye, she'll hear us now, she's up there. She's no dead, she's nicking the lead off the roof. There were old spat-style hats so by the day, old trays, old clays you wouldn't throw away. There were 4 moths, cup drops, a ganny squeezy chest, a bottles of every stuff my granny liked the best. There were +4s, lawnmowers tied up with a rope, an old flag someone that tied up on the top of the tailboard, anchored looking like a queen, was Granny Fraser sitting all the way to Aberdeen. Now I want to hear everybody in the last chorus. Are you ready? They were Spatch tile house so windy, all trades so edgy when you throw away. They were warm up, cupped up the guy's sweet check. The bottles of every stuff a guy like the best. They were plus gold blunders tied up near up. And old like someone to tie the front of all sailboat anchor looking like a creep. Was galley players chucking all the way to Aberdeen. At my granny Fraser's flitting fay, I'm going to Aberdeen.
Come on, once again, let's hear it for him. Eddie Rose. The best looking traffic warden in Aberdeen tonight. The great thing with a traffic warden like that, if you park it in double yellow lines, you're more likely to get a joke than a ticket, which is wonderful. Anyway, great stuff. And I think he's been doing a bit of Michael Flatley there. That's fantastic dancing, eh? I tell you, he'll get a job doing some Irish step dancing. Right. Well, it's time to welcome back this fantastic group of young fiddlers here, the Fochabers Frontline Fiddlers. And you know, they're fantastic, they're dynamic, and I just love their music. It's just keeping our Scottish music so fantastically fresh. And you know, in all the years that they've been on the go, the last 30 years, James has taken them all over the world to play, and I'm not surprised. He's taken them to Disney World in Florida, he's taken them to Central Park in New York, Washington, Vancouver in Canada, and just like us, the folk all over the world can never get enough of them. But I'm sure you are just like me. It's fantastic to see so many youngsters taking an interest, ladies and gentlemen, in our traditional Scottish music. Will you give them a big, big welcome back? James Alexander and the Frontline Fochabers Fiddlers.
Here's a tune I wrote about a year and a half ago, and it's a wee waltz called Dinsway. That's okay, thank you. Okay. Here's a tune I don't really know much about. Some folks say it's Irish, some folks say it's American. It's called Waiting for the Federals. normally, recently been doing this one with a trumpet player. He's our normal bass player, but he's not here tonight. So we're going to catch up the tune on fiddles. So it's the Royal Bus Breakdown and the Orange Blossom Special. So join in with clapping and some square dancing if you can down there. Here we go.
Yes, come on, let's hear it for them. These fantastic youngsters here. The Fochabers Fiddlers front line. Absolutely brilliant. And their leader, James Alexander. Well, while they're getting the keyboard up, I better tell you a story about little Willie. Again, him and his wife, Biddy, they were getting on in life. And they were a fairman couple, and you ken the passion was all over a wee bit. You ken, and Willie was razzmatazed up, you ken, files. But nothing was happening, so he thought, if I'm going to do, he says, if I get a good price for my stots, he says, at the mart today, he says, I'm getting into your new shopping centre at Aberdeen and buy a slinky new see-through gown to the wife. Very nice. Well, he got a cracking price for his beasts at the mart, you see. So he's in our Land Rover, he was covered in charring for heat to fit. So he drives right into that new Union Square in Aberdeen, never been near it afore, you see, and rakes about until he got in your fancy lingerie shops, you see. You can imagine just a fish out of water, Willie going in with the dungarees and the Charney beats. So in he goes and he says, now McQuine, he says, I'm in needing a fancy frock for a wife, but he says, you can, we're wearing on in years and she hasn't really got the figure that she used to have. He says, you see, she wears Tupperware knickers and a Tupperware knickers, he says, and a sheepdog bra. She says, I beg your pardon, sir. Tupperware knickers, he says, they do nothing for her figure, he says, but to keep what she has fresh. and she says, sir, can you explain the sheepdog bra to me? He says, it rounds him up and pints him in the right direction, he says. So, well, she says, if you're looking for a very slinky see-through negligee, she says, they're rather expensive, sir. But he says, that's all right. He says, I got a grand price for my stots today. He says, I've plenty of cash. So she took out the first in, opened the box, and he rubbed the material. She says, it's £150. He says, it's far too thick. He says, I'm looking for something a bit thinner. So she took Duna's fancy box, designer label from Paris, and she opened the box. Well, it was as thin, you could hardly see the material, you see. He says, that's exactly what I'm needing. She says, it's £500, sir. He says, wrap it up. He says, we're needing a bit of passion. So he's in our Land Rover and a while back to the fairham, you see. So Jeannie, she's sitting in front of the fire, and he throws a box to her, you see, and he says, now go on, try on that slinky see-through negligee. He says, it was £500. He says, and see if we get on. Well, she got a whap of there to try it on. Well, when she opened the box and saw it, she thought, they'll feel, he'll never ken if I've got this on or off. It's as thin. I'll go down with nothing on, and if he doesn't ken the difference, I'll go back and get the money back and keep it to myself. So down she went, not a stitch on, and she get tripping out of living room floor. She says, well, Willie, what do you think, damned, he says, for £500, they might again to rub out with the iron. There you go. Sadly, come to the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen, but it's time to bring back, to finish off our Auld Meal tonight, our fantastic top of the bill. It's lovely to welcome her back. Will you please give her a big, big welcome back once again to the lovely Paula McCaskill.
Well, here's my last wee part of this evening's show, and I think that we should do a nice wee Scottish song that you'll all know called Caledonia. So do you know that one? Right, come on then. I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days, that I've been afraid that I might drift away. So I've been telling all these stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from, and that's the reason why I seem so far away today. But let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. And if I should become a stranger, you know that it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I ever had. And now I'm sitting here before the fire, and the empty room, and the forest choir, Thank you very much. Thanks very much indeed. Right, we'll do a couple of wee waltzes this time for you. We'll go up to Kyle for a wee bit of dancing in Kyle. A wee verse of the waters of Kyle's Skew, and then one more wee song from me called The Cottage in the Country, and that'll be the end of the Gaelic news. When the sun has gone down in the dark western islands and our work is all done for a while, then we'll gather together whatever the weather, and we'll drive to the dancing in Kyle. Now there's Mary and Duncan and Morrigan, Callum and Flora and Kenna and Dawn, and we're driving from Darney Glen and laughing as we race along. And then Rory will sing of the beauties of Islay and Seamus of Stornoway's Isle. Then the finest of dancers will show us the Lancers when we drive to the dancing in Kyle. There's the swirl of the kilts and the skirl of the pipes and Ken Mason's accordion band. And it's all for the Eights-man, half for the jig, and the dashing white sergeant is grand. By Cleverig and Ben Loyal and the bonny Kyle of Tongue, the roads we've often travelled in the days when we were young. And there's beauty and there's magic in those hills while passing through. There's many a mile from Nairn's to the waters of Kyle's Skew. By Craggy Pool and Loyal and the cold backy stands, I've thought of them while soldiering in far-off foreign lands, and I dreamt I saw the sunset o'er the hills of Cashel-Dew. In fancy I was wandering by the waters of Kyle's Skew. Thought of them while soldiering in far-off foreign lands, and I dreamt I saw the sunset o'er the hills of Cashel-Dew. In fancy I was wandering by the waters of Kyle's Skew. In fancy I was wandering by the waters of Kyle's Skew. Couple of wee waltzes. Thank you very much. And we're going to end off my wee section now with an Isla Grant song, who has done very well for me. She writes lovely songs and I have hits with them as well, so thank God for Isla. And this one here is called The Cottage in the Country. So thank you very much. Good night. God bless. There's an old cottage waiting in the country, waiting ago he had to leave them and travel far across the foaming sea to fight for the things that he believed in, with a song and a guitar on his knee. And he hoped and they prayed that he'd return to them, for the weeks often turned into years, and many nights they have been so lonely, and many nights there have been many tears. And there's an old cottage waiting in the country, waiting for someone to call. There's an old kettle boiling by the fire, and there's an old welcome mat in the hall. There's an old mom and dad there waiting for a son that's been gone for so long. There's an old cottage waiting in the country, waiting for that boy to come home. And there's an old cottage waiting in the country, waiting for that boy to come home. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on, give it a big, big cheer. Fantastic singing. What a great turn there from Paula McCaskill. Paula, thank you. Well done. Well, have you enjoyed your show tonight, ladies and gentlemen? 29 years of the Auld Meal Mill. And just to you all, haste you back, particularly next year, to the 30th anniversary concert of Saturday night at the Auld Meal Mill. Anyway, lots of folk to thank tonight for being and taking part. I'd like to particularly thank the staff and the management here at the lovely music hall in Aberdeen, ladies and gentlemen. And all our wonderful cast, ladies and gentlemen. They've done so well and given us just a special Saturday night at the Auld Meal Mill. So let's thank them all. First of all, will you thank this fantastic band that's been on all night? James Alexander and the real Cayley Band. James, Claudia, John and Kevin, thank you very much. So come on, let's raise the roof and sing the song that we love so much.
When the horse are in the stable and the kye are in the byre, and the hard day's work is over, and the old folk round the fire, all go slipping through the heather, the unfair in the hill, just to see my bonny lassie by the Auld Meal Mill. She's got ink like brambleberries, she's got cheeks like mountain halls, and her lips are red like cherries. She's the bonniest floor the glass. How I weary for the lousing, how I long to quit the drill, and set off to see my lassie by the Auld Meal Mill. Now the old folk sometimes wonder just what keeps me out so late, that they never go to sleep until they hear me snake the gate. That the old man he shall lose it when he sees me down the hill, that I'm off to see my lassie by the Auld Meal Mill. Once again, come on now. When the horse are in the stable and the kye are in the byre, and the hard day's work is over, and the old folk round the fire, all things snuffing through the heather, the unfair in the hill, just
to see my bonny lassie by the Auld Meal Mill.
Ladies and gentlemen, to everybody, 3 cheers. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Good night and a very safe journey home. Good night.
What are you free?
5-y.
With Marvel. You're looking up there, look at the camera.
Not a British side.
Hey,
Oh!
come here. That's good. Looking forward to seeing the Old Meal Mill.